Have you ever spoken to a friend or colleague about languages and they just started to spit out seemingly random letters and numbers? Or have you ever been at a loss for words when someone asked you, "Hey, how's your Spanish?"
I mean, okay, I guess I don't know.
Well, what if I told you that there is a language system for categorizing language ability and knowing how it works could even help you in your studies? Yes, the CEFR, or Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, is a 6-level system that measures your capabilities in a foreign language and is considered the international standard. From lowest to highest, we first have the so-called beginner levels A1 and A2, followed by the intermediate levels B1 and B2, and finally the advanced levels of C1 and C2. Now you may be wondering, okay, so C is better than A, but what are the differences between, say, C1 and C2, and why is the system so important? First, we'll take a look at what you'll be able to do at each level, and then we'll go over why they matter. At A1, you're an absolute beginner, but you can certainly throw some phrases around. You should be able to introduce yourself, ask very simple questions, and communicate all of your absolute needs, like saying you're hungry, thirsty, or asking where the bathroom is. The language, however, is still very foreign to you. One level higher at A2, you're still considered a beginner, but you should be able to complete common tasks such as shopping, ordering food, asking for directions, and other things that have easily predictable questions and answers. You can understand frequently used expressions, but you'll still have a lot of trouble having an actual conversation with a native speaker. B1 is considered an intermediate level and is where you begin to feel more comfortable in the language. At B1, you should be able to get around somewhat easily in most social situations. You can understand speakers on a variety of topics, and it can simply describe some of your experiences, ambitions, hobbies, opinions, and plans, but you still have a hard time going into detail. B2 is an upper intermediate learner and a great milestone for many language learners. At this level, you should be able to communicate with a degree of fluency and spontaneity with native speakers. You can also now indulge in TV shows and movies in the target language, understand the main ideas of newspapers and more complicated texts, and essentially live your life in the language. At this level, you can enroll in foreign universities and even have a job in your target language. A lot of learners get stuck at this level and usually have a harder time progressing to C1 because it's a very comfortable place to be. At C1, the first of the 2 advanced levels, you'll be impressing people everywhere you go. You can now understand a wide range of topics very well and thrive in social, academic, and professional situations. You should also be able to express your ideas in detail without searching for a lot of words and prepare detailed, well-structured texts on complicated topics in the language. You can even become a translator at this level. If you manage to reach C2, then you've defied the odds and should be incredibly proud of yourself. You're as close to a native speaker as you can be. At this level, you can understand almost everything heard and read with ease. You can pick up on nuances and implicit meaning, and you even can correct native speakers in their own language when the opportunity presents itself. You probably shouldn't, but it's really comforting to know that you even can, isn't it? Great. Now that we know what the levels mean, let's look at how they're used and expressed in everyday life. Among language learners, these terms are casually thrown around a lot in conversation to express someone's general level in a language, even when they're talking about different skills within the language itself. So if I ask someone who's learning English how their English is, they could respond by saying, "I'm at a C1 level," or maybe something more complex like, "I'm A2 in speaking, but B1 in listening," or something similar. Polyglots tend to be particularly proud of their language abilities and incredibly interested in language in general, so knowing this lingo will definitely help you make some more friends. Outside of social circles, CEFR levels are used for language exams. You will most likely need a CEFR certificate in a certain language for school admissions in another country, university or course requirements, and employment. Most of these require at least a B2 level of proficiency, but if you want to become a translator, you'll need at least a C1 if not a C2 certificate. One thing to note is that a lot of CEFR certificates never expire, so they always look great on your resume, whether you passed the tests last week or during the last decade. I mentioned earlier that a lot of people get stuck at B2, so if you want to go from an intermediate to an advanced C1 level, signing up for a language exam is a great way to accomplish that. By giving yourself a deadline, you're also giving yourself more motivation to improve, and there are usually plenty of free, straightforward, guided resources on the internet that'll help you get there. That's it, guys. Hopefully now you know everything that you need to know about CEFR levels, and you're ready to impress your multilingual friends with your newfound knowledge, and maybe even take an exam in your target language. I wish you all good luck on your language learning journeys, and goodbye for now.